Why is it in the world of sales so many salespeople get caught up in price? I'm Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about one of the biggest traps salespeople fall into every single day in every industry that I work in and every single industry that I look at. And I want to let you know, once you understand what you're worth, you will charge the right amount. Another way of saying this is people who sell on price die poor. And here's the thing. I work in a lot of in-home industries, and if you sit down and you talk to the buyer, their number one objection from the salespeople that they get is its price. And I will tell you that for some people, it is going to be price. But here's the problem. Most salespeople cannot differentiate, and they can't explain what makes them better from this company to this company. They don't have the capability. So the only thing that they know how to do is fight on price. And I want to tell you a story. There is a company here in Sacramento that when I was a full-time salesperson, I would go up against them all the time. And they were the cheap Charlies. They were the Uncle Buck in a truck, whatever way that you want to explain it. And what would happen was, like, if I went up against them, and let's just say that I was $15,000 for my product or service, this company was half. They were $7,500. And then I had a very enlightening experience. I had to go to one of the vendors to go pick something up. And I saw their sales guy, and the sales guy was sitting there at the counter, and it looked like he had been there for a while. And I got my headphones on, but I'm listening and paying attention to everything that's going on. And what it came down to is the manufacturer would not release the equipment to this company or to this owner until they got verification from the bank that the check had cleared. Okay? So let's say I'm at $15,000, they're at $7,500. They're half as much as me. So, good people who are in the field of business, they're not cheap. They're inexpensive. So when I'd go up against them after that, I would talk to the buyers and say, hey, absolutely, you could go with XYZ company, but understand they don't charge enough to have the right people out in the field. They don't charge enough to have the right support. They don't have enough charge for this, for that, for this. But people get caught up in price all the time, not realizing that there's a cost to support. So support staff, the office staff, there's a cost of training, there's a cost of knowledge, there's a cost of overhead, and everybody's going to complain about price anyway. Everybody that you talk to, no matter what you say and no matter what you do, no matter what industry you're in, the default objection that people are going to give you is price. And the reason why they do this is they're playing chicken with you. They want to make sure that you really believe in your product and they really believe in your service. And this is where this all comes back around full circle. When you believe in your product or service, you will charge the right amount. And I will see salespeople who struggle go through a typical dip, okay? So a salesperson doesn't go make a couple of sales, and then they start blaming themselves, and then they're like, okay, well, now that I'm done blaming myself, now it's the company's fault. If we didn't do this as a company or we didn't do that as a company, then we could sell these jobs, and if we just charge less, we could sell this job. And I'm like, whoa, time out. If I ever hear a salesperson say that, I'm like, time out, and I get the whistle, time out. Like, whoa, no, you are going the wrong direction. First off, in the world of sales, you have to own it. You have to own the belief. Right? And I will tell you, every time that I see a salesperson really struggling just before they get fired, they're at the bottom of this dip and they want to blame everybody else. They want to blame all the problems that they have and everything that's going on the price of the product that they sell. And then so we'll sit down and whatever the marketplace is, and let's talk about companies. All right. So tell me about XYZ company, tell me about 123 company, tell me about ABC company, and they will. I'm like, well, tell me what's wrong with them. Well, they'll tell me everything. I'm like, okay, well, where does price fit into that? And they'll go, well, because they can't charge enough, they don't get this, they don't get that. And I'm like, exactly. You're working for the right company. You have to own your beliefs about what you sell and what you do. And I see salespeople in every single industry that I work in, they struggle with this. And so you have to know, if you're going up against somebody, most companies, all they have is discounters and price matchers. You don't really have a lot of competition out there in the world of sales. 4 or 5% of salespeople sell everything. They're the people who will go through a process. They believe in sales basic mastery. They know that it's not a sales call, it's performance. They do what they need to do. So I'm going to promise you, when you understand what you're worth, whether your company or your sales skills or your abilities, you will stop charging cheap prices. Right? And hey Scott, but that doesn't work in my industry. Look, I promise you, it doesn't matter what you sell. Widgets, gizmos, product, services. When you charge the right amount, you can deliver everything that you have to promise. When you don't, there's a lot of struggle on the back end. And I know that some of you be like, Scott, you know what, I'm going to write you this whole thing. Like, cool, you know what? Do me a small favor. In the box down below, leave a comment, message, or story. That'd be fantastic. I would love to hear from you, right? But you absolutely have to charge more for what you're doing. Instead of like racing towards the bottom, like cheap, 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 you should be charging more, right? That's just the way that it is. And if you do a small favor for me, like over here, there's a subscribe button, and then you can send it out to all your friends via StumbleUpon, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, why not even LinkedIn. Scott Sylvan Bell. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Aloha.